From the studios of Books in Motion, this is Michael Bowen, reading Best Served Cold, a Detective Eric Logan mystery by Gary Kassay. Now let's begin with Best Served Cold. Prologue. Los Angeles, California, 12 years before the present. He stood by the grave, staring into the hole where his grandfather now lay. A few feet to his right was the headstone for his grandmother, gone now 1 year. They were together again, and would remain so for all eternity. Yet this thought gave him no comfort. One of the workers was looking at him, silently willing him to leave so they could get to work, filling in the grave. He didn't care about the work they needed to do, didn't care if they had to wait all day for him to leave. The death of his grandfather tore at his heart. What was the saying? When one door closes, another opens? The death of his parents, for it was the only way he could look at them, although in reality they were his grandparents, had released him from his promise, opening a door. His thoughts traveled back to his earliest memory, when he was 4. He was in a car seat in the back of a large automobile. His grandfather Barry and grandmother Clarice were in the front seat, although at the time he probably hadn't known who they were. He remembered how sad his grandmother Clarice had been, sobbing and shaking. His grandfather Barry placing his hand near her head, drawing her down to his shoulder, stroking her hair and murmuring soft words. He couldn't remember if he had been sad or happy or anything. He just remembered the two of them together in the front seat of a car. A few years later, when he had reached his 8th birthday, his grandparents had sat him down out back near his treehouse. Thinking back, he remembered how scared he was at that moment. The two of them weren't smiling or laughing, as they always seemed to be doing. In fact, he couldn't remember ever seeing them without smiles on their faces or laughing out loud. So now, with their faces so stern-looking, he had been scared to death. Maybe his best friend, a German shepherd named Odin, had been hurt, or maybe worse. But then Odin had come running out through the doggy door and jumped up on him, licking his face. His grandfather had put Odin into a down and told him to stay. Grandfather Barry had never done that before, either. Grandpa Barry had gestured for Grandma Clarice to begin speaking, and after clearing her throat several times, she began. "Skipper," a nickname they had given to him the first time they took him sailing, "you know, we both love you more than anything in this world," she began. "We feel it is the right time to tell you about your parents." He remembered how, up until then, he thought his mom and dad must have left him on a doorstep at a church, or had been super spies killed on a mission, or maybe he never had any. He loved his grandparents so much. He had never given it much thought. "Your mom," she continued, "was my daughter. Her name was Charlotte. Your dad was Henry. They lived in Montana, and when you were just 4, "What your grandmother is trying to tell you," his grandfather continued, "was that they'd been killed in a car crash. We were notified as your only next of kin and brought you back with us to our home here. Well, we thought it was time to tell you." Something was wrong with the statement he had made, but being only 8 at the time, I didn't know what. They had spent the afternoon talking about his mom and dad, and again he felt as if something had been wrong. He had caught both his grandparents stumbling over answers, giving each other looks.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?